So first thing is first, what I'm about to teach you, you can use any of the LLMs. So you can use Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, it doesn't matter. I'm going to put the link for Gemini in the chat. You can click it and you can open Gemini. And from there, you can open that LLM. So if you click it, it'll take you to the LLM. This way you'll be able to participate in the exercise. All right. Fair enough. Let me know if you could just put thumbs up if you see that link in the chat. All right, awesome. Thank you guys. All right. All right. All right. So and you guys can see my screen, yes? Awesome. Thank you. All right. So welcome to the prompt engineering course. So let's get started. Let's go to the next. So what is this prompt thing, right? So what is a prompt? It's the language we use to talk to AI. A prompt is an instruction input to give AI model like ChatGPT, Midjourney, and Copilot to tell what to do. Everything starts with a prompt. Now, we use prompts in real life, right? So a teacher tells you, write about your weekend. A director says to an actor, like, say your line. A phone asks you, enter your password. Each signal is asking for a response, just like with AI. An AI prompt is your instruction, right? So ChatGPT, you can say, hey, write a poem about New York in winter. Or for Copilot, which is Microsoft, summarize this document in bullet points. So the AI responds on clear, specific your prompt is. So the better you give it instructions, the better answer you will get back. So why learning prompt engineering? The better you prompt, the better the result. You learn how to communicate effectively with AI. It's a top skill in AI design automation. So prompt engineering equals learning how to think in AI language. All right, so let's do some prompting. Open your Gemini, right? And this is what I want you to do. So we are going to start with a very simple thing, okay? So you have, and again, when you do the prompts, I want you to start a new chat. The reason is because it remembers what you did previously, right? So you want to start a new chat every time you do this exercises with me. So the first exercise is very simple. All I want you to do is tell it to write you a story, right? So see what you get. And then I want you to write this second prompt after, right? Write a 120-word story about a shy cat exploring Mars for the first time. So you use a funny tone and end with a twist. And then I want you to answer these 3 follow-up questions. So I'm going to give you 4 minutes per exercise, and then we can talk about it and see where you get with this prompt. And again, right now we are starting at the very basic level. And as we progress through this course, we will get to the intermediate, to the expert level of prompting, but we are starting with the very basic. If you have never used prompt engineering, or if you've never used an LLM, this is the way to go. All right, so I'm gonna put 4 minutes on the timer and let's make it happen. And again, I'm monitoring the chat also. So if you have any questions, or you have any, if you're stuck or anything, I'm here. You could just put it in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions too. Absolutely. I will put that in the chat too, so you guys have. Yes, the webinar is recorded. We can send you a link for the class. I see you smiling, Brian. So maybe you got something funny. And Brian, if it gave you an image, if you put it again, it'll give you the story. So some by default, it just gives you the image. And the image is cool too. All right, 20 seconds. And let's talk about it. All right, the first one, right? Which detail changed the story the most, right? The tone, the length, or the setting? And again, there's no wrong answers to this, guys. I just love to hear your thought process. And if your participation would be definitely appreciated. All right, so George says the tone was the biggest change. The first story was extremely depressing. This story is more fun. Absolutely. Again, giving AI or any LLM more details is always going to get you a way better answer than just a vague prompt. Okay, Larry said the length and the tone. Absolutely. And again, it could be all three if you feel like. Anybody want to come off mute and just tell me about any, and you can answer any of the three follow-up questions. It doesn't have to be in order. So if you added one more detail, like a style, viewpoint, or target age, would it be any different and why?
Hi, Nick. I'll take a stab at it.
Thank you, Thomas.
To answer your question, I think the question 3, it would be extremely more concise because the more details you give it, the more parameters you give it, the tighter, more concise answer you're going to get back. So that could shorten the length, as in the first question, because I saw immediately the link shortened because it was a more concise, detailed prompt that was given it. So the tone also changed, but 2 things for me changed that jumped out: the tone and the length to question 1. But then to question 3, If you change it with adding even more detail, you're going to get a much tighter response because you're asking it to do that.
Thank you, Thomas. Much appreciated. Yeah, absolutely. And that's important because when you're prompting, you also want to target, the audience. What if it's kids or teenagers, or if you're targeting, Gen Zs or millennials? Again, it changes the dynamics of the story. So what I want you to take away from this first exercise is that details go a long way for prompt engineering. So the better the details you can give to the LLM, the better the answer you will get back, right? So that is the first thing I want you to take from this prompt engineering. We're going to move to the next part of the prompt engineering. Is this, we're going to start from here. So prompt patterns, right? Can you guys see my screen? Okay, awesome. All right. And I want to see you guys because I have two screens. So, all right, awesome. So prompt patterns, right? Example, like a cookie recipe. If you just say make cookies, you might get one kind of cookie. You could get a chocolate chip cookie, an oatmeal, or weird spinach ones. But if you use a pattern, it's like saying you're a baker, make 12 chocolate chip cookies using this recipe. Tell me how long they need to bake. That's a prompt pattern. So it's giving structure to the pattern, who the robot should be, the baker, what to make, the cookies, and how to do it with details. So there's three parts to the prompt pattern. There's the role, who the AI should pretend to be. You are a travel guide. The task, what the AI should do. Describe Paris in 3 sentences. And the extra details, like how do you want it to sound and what style to use? For example, make it sound fun for kids. Okay, so let's try another exercise together.
Yeah, tap is new for me. It's a very expressive medium.
All right. Let's try this prompt pattern here. Okay. Again, if you can mute, if one of you guys at the Neotech can make me a host so I can mute everybody on the. Okay, I'm gonna just reclaim host. Thank you. All right, awesome. All right, so what I want you to do here is you are a role, explain a topic in a way an audience would understand, right? So you can ask ChatGPT the same question using 3 different roles, okay? So I want you to do, you're a scientist, explain how a volcano works to a kid. You are a tour guide, explain how volcanoes like a story, and you're a comedian, explain how volcanoes in a funny way. And I want you to follow up with these 3 follow-up questions. So I'm gonna give you 4 minutes. Again, run through the prompt pattern. Again, understanding the role, the topic, and the audience. The 3 things in that prompt pattern. All right, let's try this. I give you 4 minutes, guys.
Hi, Nick, can you copy and paste it in the chat again?
Absolutely, of course.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, we're gonna do 30 seconds more, and then let's go over this together. And again, if you can even participate in the chat, that would be still awesome. I'll just read what you said. But if you could come off mute, that would be even better. All right, so the first one, how did each role change the explanation, right? Like consider the tone, the word choice, pacing, and the type of details used versus like scientist, a tour guide, or a comedian. Who wants to answer that? If you could put in the chat, I'll take that answer too. All right, George, thank you.
Sorry, I had to think about my answer.
No worries.
Yeah. So my prompt was about iconography in ancient Egypt.
Okay.
And I was asking about the scarab beetle, and I told it to tell me as an insect collector, as an art history expert, and as a priest.
Okay.
And the content, a priest in ancient Egypt.
Okay.
So the content of what it gave me was pretty much the same, but each of them had a unique kind of voice where it said it, where I could absolutely hear the collector like using the Latin names for it and all that stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Awesome. No, thank you for participating, George. Yeah, absolutely. And again, that role is super important for anything, even for me. Like you're looking for a job, you're building your resume, cover letter, business wise, always give it a role because the LLMs love roles. It's their thing. Like give it a role. Anybody else? Again, just to follow up questions or your thought process, what you think. I love to hear your thoughts. And then somebody wrote in the chat, they said the tone and the perspective on the story. And Raymond, the character of each prompt response changes accurately based on the role, the content changes appropriately. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the role is probably in this the most important because we kept the other things the same a bit. But the scientist, tour guide, and the comedian, the roles change. So the context of what prompt you get back will also change. Gino, no worries. It says, which program are we all using? You can use any LLM you like, but we are using Gemini.
With mine I did, it talked about with surfing and tides and asked it to explain in 3 different ways as a surfer, explain how the tides of the ocean affect the surfing conditions. And the tour guide was definitely the easiest to follow and read. The most boring, of course, was the scientific one.
Absolutely.
And then the comedy one was funny. But again, the tour guide was definitely the most clear.
All right. Awesome. No, I'm happy you got to, yeah. I agree. The scientists will be probably the boringest. Anybody else? Before we move to the next part. All right. Thank you, guys. All right. So the next part, let's look at that. The persona prompt. Can you guys see my screen? Yeah. Okay, thank you. So the persona prompt is, again, like a role. You're a comedian. Explain how volcanoes work in a funny way. So you could see it gave me this chapter paragraph here. So the persona prompt also has 3 parts to it. It starts with who you are. This sets the voice of the role. For example, if you're a scientist, you're a teacher, you're a rapper. Give a clear task, what the AI should do, explain volcanoes, describe Paris, teach me algebra. And you want to add the audience to make it fit for a group. Is it for kids, for beginners, or for experts? So let's do another prompt exercise. So, and I'll put it, I won't forget, Thomas, I'll put it in the chat, all right? So the persona prompt, again, it's the same thing. Use the same topic with 3 roles and follow up these questions. Let's put this here. So put 4 minutes on the timer and let's see what you guys get. And again, just so you guys know, this is the first part. So as we continue, we progress into, you know, more intermediate prompt engineering and then expert level prompt engineering. But so for all the people that are a bit intermediate, that will also happen in the class and then also the expert level. All right. Okay. So again, I'll read the first comment. in the chat from Raymond. He said, my prompt with the comedian role tended to sound not very funny. For me, the output from the other roles seemed to hit the mark better. Gemini is just not good at being funny. All right, I'll take it. DeepSeek or ChatGPT. All right, who else wants to add to this one? And then George said, you can really tell sometimes that it doesn't have a grasp of humor. Anybody else? Thomas, Raymond. Anybody else wants to come off mute? Which one did you like the most? Maybe there's no wrong answers to any of this.
Okay, so
Thank you,
for
Gene.
me, it doesn't really make any sense of why it make the concept of why would like anybody be through between the tour guide, the scientist, or like being a comedian through some complex way like that.
So which one did you like?
Well, I'm interested in like mostly of the tour guide and the scientist, which like mostly through the energy and the tone cabaret.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Gene. Anybody else? Thought process. What do you think of the persona prompt? Role. And again, you could also put in the chat. I could also read that from the chat if you're shy. Yeah, go ahead.
I have to agree. I didn't find the comedian role very funny. I expected to have more humor, more jokes, more wisecracks in the text, and I didn't get that at all. I mean, the opening sentence was about as funny as it got, and then it was right into it, and that kind of left me feeling, well, that wasn't really funny. So
Okay.
tone and approach there, style, didn't really pay off.
My question to you, who's your friend, who's your comedian that you find really funny?
Oh, Don Rickles is funny.
Okay, so then if you prompt it for, again, if you tell it that, hey, you're a comedian, Don Rowan, and then do the same thing, it will go look that up, and then it will try to give you the prompt answer back in his tone and voice and comedic manner.
Understood. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? All right. Yes, Gino, that's correct. All right. Let's try this one. Okay. So this one is one of my favorites. The tone transformer upgrade. Okay, so this is important. So if you're answering emails, you are responding to a job, you are responding to a business email, or just responding to your significant other, that can also save you. So the tone upgrade is you can use different tones, right? So there's the professional, funny, motivational, dramatic, and I want you to ask it the same thing. What the future of AI? And then I want you to see the different tones and put that and see the answer you get back. And I use this all the time when I'm answering emails and I just need a response. And obviously you should read the email, what response you get back. And see the different tones that you can set. So let's try this one. And I'll put it in the chat. Hey, Raymond, so when you do the rating, it lets the LLM know that if what the answer it gave you back was good, and then it builds off that for other people. So it's learning, it's constantly learning. That's why you do the rating. You're on mute, Raymond. Or you could just put it in the chat if your mic's not working. No, it is for you also, as it also is learning for you. It remembers your past chats, but it's also for itself. All right, let's again. All right, so I have two questions for you. What is your personal thought on the future of AI, and what do you think of the tone shift? Right, which words or phrases showed the biggest tone shift? Builds trust, excitement. Again, let me know who wants to participate, or you could just put it in the chat. And what you think the future of AI is. Thomas, Raymond, Everest, anybody else that answered? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Hi, Nick. For me, I think the fourth option, the dramatic option, gave more specifics.
Okay. Which, the dramatic one?
Yes.
Okay. And then what is your thoughts, Thomas, on the future of AI?
I think it gave a pretty good overview of it, but I mean, I don't think it's definitive because it's always going to be changing. And I think, as you pointed out a moment ago, based on continual input, it'll keep changing, and you'll get a different answer tomorrow if you asked it the same thing, I'm sure.
Absolutely. And then, since I have you, Thomas, which tone builds the most trust, you think, in your opinion? There's no,
Professional and dramatic, I think, are going to be the two that give you a more trusting tone, just because of the nature of the parameter you've given it.
Okay.
A comedic one is going to be less trusted because people are going to think it's less serious because it's supposed to be humorous in general.
Okay, absolutely. And now I'll read some from the chat. George says, I'm hoping for tons and tons of cybernetics, X-ray vision, reinforced CPU enhanced brain power. I told it to use all four tones, and it can sum up the whole thing. The immediate future is hyper automation. We're talking about agents that don't draft emails, they become your email. And then he wrote, what does that even mean? However, you can really tell using all these elements, synthesize something like a personality which works. And then Alaric wrote, the future of AI motivational tone, specific examples, possible solutions for the current problems, right? And then Raymond, in general, all the models I've used do fairly a good job delivering requested tone. As the future of AI, I think there are limitations for the near term that are overwhelmed by the hype. Again, Raymond, I agree. There's a lot of hype around it, but I think that we all should learn AI in general. It's a really good tool to understand. It helps. I just don't use it just for work. I also use it for cooking. If I want a recipe, if I want a workout training, I use ChatGPT for that. I want my relationships to go better. I use ChatGPT for that. It can help you before you send an email out. So again, I use it day to day in my life every day. So it's a very good tool to use, but I agree there's some hype around it, but it's also a very important tool to understand and use, especially if you work in technology, and that's the way you want to go. All right, so we are at 7:45. We're going to do one more exercise. And we are going to do this one last one, and then I can take any questions. I can also talk to you guys about the AI automation part, which is the second part to this course. This is just the prompt engineering, but if you're interested in building agents using NAN, that's the second part of the course. And I can answer any questions you guys have for this course or that course. All right, so let's try this. I'll put this in the chat. And again, for everybody participating, everybody on this call, thank you so much. It makes my life so much easier when you participate. So thank you. And if somebody would do the rapper, even a little rhyme, that's pretty good. I heard some good stuff from Gemini about gravity. Or you could put it in the chat. Yes, Larry, they are two different courses. This is just the prompt engineering course to just become an expert at prompt engineering. That second course is all about automation and building AI agents using NAN. So it's a much more technical course, the second one, versus the first one. That's correct. I do teach more. And again, if you have any questions for me, I'll also leave my email. You can ask me anytime you want me to hop on a Zoom call with you. I can also do that. All right. Let's do this last one. Okay. So again, persona, you could have been a chef, a superhero, a detective, a rapper. Which persona created the clearest mental picture? And then Raymond said, the detective role explaining photosynthesis produced a pretty effective output. Although an infographic was not requested, was generated and supported the narrative responses. Absolutely. Gemini is awesome at making images. So usually with the output, Raymond, it also gives you sometimes images. And if you just want an image, you can also just get that too. And who else wants to participate? Thomas, what about you? What did you get? Which one did you like?
I did them all, but I chose the rapper first just because I was curious to see how it was going to rhyme the words, and it did a reasonable job. But again, I think it was a little.
What did you think?
I think it wasn't as loose as maybe Claude or ChatGPT may have done it. So I think the style might be improved using a different tool. And that's something I would like to ask you when it's Q&A time. What tools you personally think are best for certain activities?
Absolutely. You could definitely ask me that. And thank you, Thomas. And then again, George says, as a rapper, Gemini sounds like a stereotype from the 80s. It did give me a pretty good rhyme, though when you hear the qubits and the quantum leap, you know it's about superposition, secrets they keep. All right, awesome. All right, thank you guys. Again, and Thomas, I'm gonna stay on for the Q&A. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. You can ask me anything, what's my favorite LLM? What do I use for image generations, video, anything you need? I could definitely answer any of those questions. So what was your question, Thomas?
Generally speaking, what tools do you prefer to use for different tasks? Like I've heard from some people that they like Claude for writing because they think it does a better job than ChatGPT. And in this course, you've touched upon certain things like style and tone might be better achieved using the different tools. So I'm just curious, based on your experience, what tools you like to use for different.
Absolutely. So for image generation, my favorite tool is Midjourney. I really love Midjourney. I use Midjourney all the time. What I do is I get the prompt from ChatGPT and then run it into Midjourney, and it's pretty good at creating images. For writing and code, I love Claude. I like the feel of Claude. It just feels more human, I would say, than ChatGPT and Gemini. The one that I use the least amount would be Gemini. The one that I use the most on my day-to-day is ChatGPT. I work in tech. So if I get stuck with something, I use the snipping tool and I take a shot of whatever I'm stuck at and I need to fix, and I put it in ChatGPT, and it usually gives me back and step-by-step instructions of how to fix that issue. That's what I love ChatGPT for. But for like thinking, business ideas, writing, I love the feel of Claude. It feels like having like a human partner, I would say, versus ChatGPT, which I use for technical issues or technical stuff that I need to do. That's my favorite least LLMs that I use on a day-to-day basis.
May I ask you a quick follow-up question?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Part A and B. How did you get started learning prompt engineering? And two, what books would you recommend somebody who's starting out go get and consult?
Absolutely. So how I started in prompt engineering or AI in general. So I work as a director of advanced training. So I've been in my company for 10 years. So I've done training for 10 straight years in cybersecurity, cloud, A plus, Net plus, Security plus, CYSA plus, and all of cloud certification. So I've been doing this for a long time. My CEO was like, hey, there's this AI, and this when AI first came out, and she was like, hey, I need you to represent our company and go to this AI conference. And at the point, I was like, okay, I will go. I went and I just fell in love with AI. The first day I was there, I was like, this is amazing. Like just using it day to day. And then when I came back to my company, like I became the de facto AI guy. Like now I've run AI workflows all over my company. Every department we have cut down on so many things that we used to do that was repetitive. So I fell in love with it. And again, regarding books, there's a book called AI Prompt Engineering Basics. I put the link in the chat, or I can give it to Neartech and they can send it to you guys. Again, that's how I got started. And two, it's such an early market. Like it's not, AI has not been around. It feels like to me that's been around for like 10 years or something, but it really in reality has been around for like 2 years. Because I remember going to that conference and it was like less than 2 years ago. And from that day, I just use it every single day. Even now, like we are doing co-pilot training for Excel, Word, PowerPoint, Outlook at my company. So I'm running that next week for the entire company to just learn how to use Copilot in their day-to-day integrations. Again, AI is like in every realm, right? So that's how I got started. And if you're on LinkedIn, I'll also leave my LinkedIn, add me on LinkedIn. And if you ever need to message me, I always respond to my LinkedIn accounts, like message.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. And if I could help you in any way, regardless with this class or not, because I also never went to school for tech. I'm actually changed my career to tech. So I got started just by some certifications in A+. I started in desktop support, and many people have helped me along the way to get where I am today. So if I can give back to somebody or even guide them, I'd be more than happy to do that. And that goes for anybody on this call. Just add me on LinkedIn. I'd be more than happy to help you if I can.
Thank you, Nick.
Absolutely, Thomas. Yeah, and I'll put my LinkedIn in the chat right now so you guys have it. Just 1 second. And then again, anybody else has any questions? Again, let me know. Yeah, absolutely. I'm putting my LinkedIn here. It's in the chat. Nick Javaid, you could just add me on LinkedIn and I'll definitely add you. Again, you can send me a DM. You need my help with something with the class or anything, I'd be more than happy. When the AI automation QAs, when is the next cohort? Is starting in January.
Yes, the next one will be on January 17th. And of course, Nick will be the instructor for that one. So our boot camp will be in two parts. The first part will be when he teach about like prompt engineering. So it will be class like this one. And then the second part is, if people want to join, is about AI automation, where they learn about how to build agents. And that's a little bit more broader and longer boot.
And just to add, it's much more technical course than the prompt engineering course. Do you need to take the first one? If you are, I would recommend it you do, but it's not required.
Well, the first part is more for the beginners, people who want to learn about how to prompt better. But the second part is when you build automation. So probably there are job openings in companies where they are looking for people like, let's say, like Nick, which they can help with automation. So not with coding, but with AI automation. So that will help them build some tools and make the tools do the job for you.
And I just want to add that any job that you're currently trying to apply for, again, the automation part, it's phenomenal. Like if you use it at your work, or you automatically right now at the moment become the AI expert at your job, because a lot of people, believe it or not, don't know how to do AI automation, right? So again, even if you work in accounting, you work in marketing, you work in any of the industries, you will be so much better off if you use AI automation. Again, not because I'm teaching it, regardless if you take it with me or not, but in general, my recommendation is to learn automation, and that's either in Azure platform, AWS, or NAN, Zapier, Make, any of those. Again, my recommendation is to definitely learn it.
And before you answer the next question there, Nick, so there also, so we have a couple of boot camps. So one is the QA boot camp when you learn about software testing, when another boot camp is AI for only for software testers. So how software testers can use AI in their career. And then also these are the two boot camps that Nick will be teaching, which will be the AI prompt engineering and also AI automation. So and they have the dates there on the website, on the link that is shared there by Ahmet. And do you have any answers about the hardware, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, we don't really need to worry about the hardware, because everything we do is in the cloud, right? So if it's an AWS, Azure platform, or Google's cloud. So really, this day and age, you don't really, unless you want to have your own personal LLM, then locally on your computer, then yeah, you would worry about the hardware. But again, I wouldn't worry too much about the hardware, because you can also technically rent out the strongest CPU with 200 RAM, gigs of RAM, 20. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. And then yes, the AI engineering program, that is our AI automation program. That's what that is. So again, a much more technical program.
So for Alaric, so the two programs for AI are, the first part is the AI prompt engineering, which is easy one, simple one, basic for people who just want to learn about prompt engineering. And the second part, we call it AI engineering or AI automation. The same thing is to build those agents which will do the job for you. And if you have more questions, and I don't know, because you might need more detailed answers, you can definitely email to us or schedule a call or talk directly to this phone number to ask and to get more information about when these programs start and which one fits better for you. And by the way, probably we're going to have other info sessions which explain more detailed about the program. Today was just a sample class where you can see what is taught and what you can do in this field. So if there are no more questions, I think, do you have anything else to add, Nick?
No, again, I just want to say thank you for showing up to this class. Again, it's the very small part of the bigger course. And then everybody that participated, Thomas, Raymond, and anybody in the chat, again, thank you so much. If you have any questions, obviously you can reach out to the Neotech Academy. You could also reach out to me. Yeah, and I look forward to teaching you guys AI. I personally love AI. I think it's such a game changer in a long time. And like I said, I've been in the tech space for over 10 years, and I've never seen something it's really amazing. So it's my opinion. So
okay, good night, everyone.
good night.
Good night.